Happened in the 90s.
I want to remember you as I've always known you. So
Dying for a little excitement?
carefree.
Maybe it's time to give Carefree the nod. See what a little bursting bubblegum flavor can do for you. Juicy Carefree bubblegum, bursting with flavor.
About how, okay, Pac, Dre, and Snoop were all contemporaries at some point when Pac was alive. And Snoop and Dre both globally respected and loved, not just West Coast, East Coast, the South, Midwest. Like people in Asia know about Snoop Dogg. People in Africa know about Snoop Dogg. And Tupac, he, like, people love him globally, but he's not here. And the point of it is he didn't have enough time to change. He was 24.
Yeah.
But luckily for Snoop and Dre, they were able to get out of those scenarios, man. Like they were able to be like, hey, Suge, I don't like what's going on here. I'm a bounce.
And had the balls to do, like, even like, I don't give a fuck if Suge Knight's a scary guy, but just to be an artist who's making money, a shit ton of money, and then being like, you know what, I just don't like how you're running this. I'm gonna leave now and I'll figure it out, but I'm just not gonna make all this money I've been making for years and years and years. That's crazy. And he's done that multiple times because he's done everything that you could do as an entertainer. He's performed, he's had huge performances as just an artist. He's had TV shows, comedy shows. He's been in like huge blockbuster movies, dramatic and funny. And he just keeps pushing. He had like a podcast before a lot of people had podcasts and was doing like an internet video show. And what was it? Just Snoop interviewing everybody. And it was he probably still does it. I mean, GGN News, I don't know if he does it regularly, but that shit was fire too. So
I don't think he does it anymore, but he's busy. He's always busy doing something. If he's not running his own show, he's being interviewed on somebody else's show. Like,
I mean, I don't know if it's because like it's just like the business was better, but I feel like Dre, it just was. I mean, he became a businessman, but like Snoop, it's like he became a businessman, an actor, an entrepreneur, a fucking brand ambassador. And like Dre just kind of, I mean, maybe it's because he's just so fucking rich and he's just so successful. It's like, why bother? But I'd say Snoop kind of has him on like the general, everyone, like if Snoop walks around, I feel like Dre might be in a right situation. You might not just obviously notice him, but Snoop, you're gonna know that's Snoop Dogg walking around. If not from the cloud of the weed smoke to just like the visual. I mean, you're gonna know it's him.
No one else looks like Snoop. What people used to say Nipsey Hussle looked like Snoop, but
I see that a little bit. I mean, definitely, but even so, I just like Snoop, I don't know the one. Show. When he's coming, I just feel like that the Snoop shows like you're in that general vicinity. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. I mean, he doesn't make as much money as Sean Combs or Sean Carter, but I do feel like Snoop Dogg is the most recognizable rapper in the world.
As far as like a rapper, I would personally just want to meet also. That's the number one, because not only are you going to get to meet a legend, just a straight up Hall of Fame person just in society, but you're going to smoke some of the best weed that you've ever smoked, if not the best. And I look forward to seeing how I stack up. I don't think I could keep up, but I just feel like I wouldn't embarrass myself. You know, I just feel like I'd be able to hang in the pocket for a little bit.
He said the only person that could outsmoke him is Willie Nelson.
I mean, I would just have loved to have been there, not only to just be in the circle, but just see Willie Nelson. I feel like that's another guy I want to meet. What's Willie up to now? He's still alive.
Smoking a lot of weed. Yeah.
Yep. That's what's keeping him alive, Steve. That THC, it's just like keeping everything held together, you know? I love that.
And he was like a bad boy country guy. He's not like one of those Walmart motherfucking like elevator. They don't play Willie's music in the fucking mall. I mean, that's the country I fuck with. I fucks with that, the outlaw shit that, you know. I wrote a song about getting pulled over by like 4 state troopers, and I had like a kilo in my back in the bed of my truck. I'm gonna put it in a country song because he lived that life.
I mean, that motherfucker's steady still living that life because he just goes around on a bus that is like the straight weed mobile, basically. Remember that
Real shit.
Cheech and Chong movie where the whole car was made out of weed, whatever one that was? Do you remember that?
Is that Nice Dreams?
I think so.
I get him. Yeah.
It's one of them. But anyway, that's Willie's bus. And he just, if he's runs out, which he never will, he just breaks a little off, rolls up, and just keeps going, dude. It's
fucking gangster.
I feel like
So
that's got to be that. That's got to be something because Snoop, he looks like he's 40. He don't look old as shit. He ain't Asian. He just likes kind of graying up a little bit, but otherwise the dude's in fantastic shape. For what is he, 50 some?
He's still built like Rodney from Baby Boy.
Can't believe this motherfucker had the audacity to come over my motherfucking house and talk shit to me while I was locked up. Fuck my bitch.
I mean, if that's what you call excellent shape, if that's his peak, then so be it.
But he ain't like fattened out. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like a Busta Rhymes who used to be a lean guy, but now might, gravity's taking effect, or all those meals are taking effect.
Yeah, Busta Bus been back in the gym though, man. He trimmed it down.
Did he? Okay.
You still haven't listened to that Extinction Level event 2 yet. No.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm not a guy. I'm not good with the music because I only listen to it when I'm working out, and that's only an hour a day. So I already have the hits. I can't venture out. And what if it gets me out of rhythm, Steve? Like, what am I going to do here?
Okay, before the end of the day, I'm going to send you a track or 2 from that album. It's one of the best albums of 2020. And that says a lot because motherfuckers dropped some bomb, like not bombs, but bomb-like. Because bomb means it's bad. But
yeah, I was about to say. But I mean, hey, please, by all means, I want Busta Rhymes to be thriving. I'm glad to hear he's trimmed down and getting back to Busta shape. But I also would love to hear some new music. I mean, he's not a bad MC at all. He's a good rapper, but I just, again, new shit. It has to be brought to me. And I need like a validation for me to check it out. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. You do have a Spotify account, right?
Yes, I do.
Awesome, man. Expect a track or 2 in your inbox, man. Now, I smoke copious amounts, more than my fair share of marijuana from time to time, Matt.
Oh my God, Steve, you smoke marijuana cigarettes?
Life happens.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you listen to songs that you really like and the song sounds different. And I'll never forget this one time I was listening to Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Come My Way? Or Are You Gonna Go My Way? One of the like essential 90s rock riffs, man. It's just a dope ass tempo. Okay. I'm in Mars fucking zoning out, man. Listen to some Jimmy. And like usually that's what I hear, what we just did. But this time it sounded like the guitar was talking to me.
Oh my God. What kind of weed was this, Steve?
Oh my God, man. It made you want to fold the dishes. And I think that like the guitar, what the words they were saying was beautiful tasting pussy, beautiful tasting pussy. Beautiful. And you know what, bro? Like that doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't matter because it's Lenny Kravitz and he can make things possible.
He can I mean, if anyone would write a song where the riffs basically are saying that, I feel like it's Lenny Kravitz. Because he would know. The man would know. He's got to be a connoisseur. I can only assume.
He's seen those insides of Lisa Bonet, my favorite Huxtable.
Oh my God.
He's got like some kind of tryst or something going on with Lisa Bonet and Jason Samoa.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, I feel like, I don't know if you remember this, but he busted out of his pants one time live on stage. I think in the Today, there was some performance he did where Lenny Kravitz just busted out of those shorts. And the guy's packing. So I think, he's probably just skewering both Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa or Samoa.
No, I'm not saying those two are doing it. I'm just saying they're like all aboard.
They're all in. They're all in. This is like a Jada Pinkett deal where there's some re-dicking and some new dicking going on at the same time,
On that Eyes Wide Shut shit, man. And hey, if you like it, I love it. And I know that things, you can't taste things beautiful. Beautiful is not you can't,
Yeah,
that's not even how
Steve.
you apply that adjective.
To vagina, to pussy, though, I get like it's not like you're talking about like a chicken McNugget here. I think that applies, and I almost want to go back and listen to it because maybe you heard something that he wanted you to hear.
Exactly.
You know? You tapped into that Lenny vibe real deep.
That's is one of the joys of marijuana and appreciating the arts, man. You know, it just adds to it. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that layer was there. Maybe that guitar was saying
shitty
beautiful
TV show
pussy.
just became awesome all of a sudden because of this edible I just ate. I mean, that actually happened to me. I'm not going to bring it up right now, but I watched a classic holiday movie involving Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad over the weekend, Steve. And I got to say, if I wasn't on marijuana, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it half as much. So,
how you gonna tell me Terminator is Santa Claus, man? Man, that's crazy, man. Terminator, he's supposed to be talking about I'll be back, man. When you gonna come back through the roof or the front door?
Dude, Sinbad, I mean, he commits at least 25 felonies in the span of this movie, and I just wasn't aware that I didn't remember the magic of Jingle All the Way till I saw it over the weekend.
Man, how you gonna be Santa Claus with muscles, man? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like you a kindergarten teacher and a cop.
Stop trying to fuck my wife, Phil Hartman. Jamie. That movie, dude, we'll get into it, but salute to Arnold Schwarzenegger for just having a decade where there was no act. The Rock is taking the full page, the full effect. He just said, you know what? I'm going to be me, guys. Oh, I'm going to play myself in a movie where a guy from Minneapolis, Minnesota is a bad father and has to get a fucking toy for his kid on Christmas. And everyone was just like, you know what, Arnold? Go for it. And that movie probably made $1 trillion anyway. So he was killing it, dude.
Yeah, and Sinbad was too. Who was the little meatball kid that was in the movie?
It's fucking the Anakin Skywalker kid that everybody hated from the episode 1 Star Wars. I think his name's Jake Lloyd.
No, well, fuck
but
him.
Phil Hartman's in it trying to fuck
Hartman?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife in the movie. I mean, the shit is just all it's bananas, Steve.
You got some kings right there. You got Sinbad, Phil Hartman.
I think here's another crazy thing I just thought of. I think Sinbad and Phil Hartman were in another movie where Sinbad's like a criminal and he has to fake like he's Phil Hartman's long lost best friend, and Phil Hartman's like a dentist. Dude, this is a movie, Steve. I did not just make this up. I'm telling you.
Is this another Shazam?
No. I'll look this up real quick, but while we're talking, just know that there was another movie with Sinbad and Phil Hartman. So
that's a house guess.
That's it, Steve. That's it. And again, these guys were kings. Phil Hartman didn't really make it out of the 90s, but I'm like, that guy was amazing. He made that movie. I think it was probably because he was in it and Sinbad was in it that it was actually even not a giant steaming pile of shit.
Like Phil Hartman was like the utility guy. Like you could plug him into any skit and he was going to make it work, even if he wasn't the focal point. Yeah,
that Simpsons
made you choke on those thoughts.
I mean, dude, I got choked up just thinking about Phil Hartman, Steve. But no, that guy was a beast. He was in. I mean, it just sucks that you see him in these movies and you realize there's probably a lot of people that don't even know who that dude is anymore. It's like, fuck, that guy's a legend.
Well, that's why we create shows like this, Matt. And on that note,
thank you, Steve.
Hi, boys and girls. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Sam Cassell jerseys and your Tailspin t-shirts, because it's Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. And I'm not talking M-A-C-K. I'm talking about the Mac Man. Makes bombs out of toothpicks, goddammit.
Steve,
Motherfucking Richard Dean Anderson. With 3 names as a name, you're either an assassin or a 90s icon. The word to Mark Paul Gosselaar. Blah, 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 blah.
You got it out, Steve. You got it out.
You get the gist. Or Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
That's, man. Oh, is that some Illuminati shit, Steve? That's how you know.
They're, you know what? They're being trained by the KGBs. Motherfucking, yeah, they're 90s icons and shit, like that black boy said on that podcast, but they're also going to be assassins in the future. They're being, see, Mark Paul Gosselaar.
I fuck Mary kill Mark Paul Gosselaar, Steve.
I'll fuck Mary kill Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Oh,
but yeah.
I just wasn't thrilled with this week, Steve. I feel like sometimes we, have to just go through and just pick some like alternatives. You don't want to cover the same shows at week after week. And
yeah, I feel like we have done that, but hey, so what?
But it was for a reason. Seinfeld, it was because we had to hit that one episode, we could have maybe went on a different MacGyver tip, and anything. I'm going to just give us a tip that hopefully we listen to in the future. If we're ever considering a MacGyver, let's not do the last season, because the last season seems to be like the reason why MacGyver maybe stopped. It's not good, Steve.
Well, I do like this MacGyver because it has cameos from 80s/90s pop cultural. Are they legends? You know what? They're legends in their own right. They're legends in their own right. In the terms of pop culture lexicon, this features Dick Butkus. Not only does he have a sexual innuendo as a name, he's an NFL Hall of Famer. And then Bubba Smith, also former Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, great Raiders teams, Colts teams when they were in Baltimore. And he was Officer Hightower. Police Academy, you could probably do without like 13 of them. And I think there are 13 of them. But then there's also the guy Ogre, the guy who played Ogre in Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
He's, who is he? The Greek or the something?
Herman the German.
The German, yeah, hell yeah.
Herman German.
You know who I think I was mistaking Ogre for a lot? Who was the guy who played the jacked RA in Saved by the Bell the college years? He was also a football player.
Bob Golick.
Golick, that's what it was.
Because he's Mike Golick's brother from Mike and Mike. Yeah. They're actually from Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, Cleveland Knights.
The Golicks. Okay.
The Golicks, man. Yeah.
Well, I used to get them confused, but I realized watching this, and I got to say, that guy, he got an easy paycheck too, because he didn't have to really come in. He just came in and was just like big dicking the whole time.
Yeah, he was in like 3 scenes, and they were like 2 seconds. And you know what? You could throw Lyle Alzado in there too. He kind of had that like curly, like mullet-ish hair. He played for the Raiders when they were good. He died, but he was in Ernest Goes to Camp. He was in one of those Ernest movies. And if you see a picture of Lyle Alzado, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He's in that same bracket.
Well, I mean, this it's a good 90s like hitter, but Steve, why is MacGyver not doing MacGyver shit? That's all I'm saying. Okay.
I mean, this is an off day. And he can only do so much every day, all day, any day, because he is human. I mean, and now that's hard to believe sometimes, but I do agree that this was a slow week. I noticed that it seems that the best 90s shows took a week off in the 90s. Like this December 2nd, go visit my family.
This is like the week after Thanksgiving, basically. So it's just like, you know what, guys, I'm tired. Like, let's do a rehash show. Let's do somewhere maybe we flash back a lot. But even MacGyver, he was like, you know what? I need a break. I need to just help my buddy out this week.
Yeah, man. Dick Butkus needs to get back in that ring, man. But all the Hanging with Mr. Coopers, the Seinfelds, the Simpsons, they're all like, yeah, we'll see you December 9th. So because of that, we're relegated to cover for the first time and maybe, I don't know, hopefully for the last time, Wings. And I knew we were going to get to this point, Matt. Like
I knew it was going to come to this.
It was bound to happen. Now, I will say, people, a non-negotiable is fucking Friends. That is a only Patreon deal. And I think we're going to title it, this is the only way we'll watch an episode of fucking Friends.
Thank you.
If you pay us. But yeah, Wings it was 8 seasons. And I remember it being a thing. Wings was a thing in the 90s. And I never watched the shit. We did watch this episode. And if this is any indicator of how the rest of the show is, I want to know how the fuck they make it to 8 seasons.
They even put hookers in it, Steve. And even with a room full of hookers, this wasn't any more interesting than an episode of like some PBS show. This was just some hot trash.
I hate the fact that the word "win" is in the title of this show. Just that alone right there irks my fucking liver.
I don't know how so many people like popped off of the show, because there's at least 3 people that got a huge pop off the show, and watching it, other than like the cachet of like people behind the scenes, the names. Why was this still going? Was somebody just handing CBS or NBC, whatever channel was playing this shit? We just handed them a check every year. Like, please just keep, Steven Weber needs this credit. So please.
Well, the guys that created Cheers, or were co-producers of Cheers. So I guess they had a pull. This show started in the 90s, like 1990, and it lasted most of the decade from 1990 to 98. I mean, and then it didn't help that they created Frasier. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, Frasier, let's not besmirch these guys, because we said this right before we hit record.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 in Hollywood, success-wise, that's a hard mark to like 66%. That's tough. So, I mean, give the guy some credit, but you bound to make a fucking dud, and at least their dud was an 8-year dud. I don't know how, you know.
Obviously.
I mean, at least Fear Factor had people eating dicks and drinking like piss and shit. Like at least there was something to watch on a weekly basis. What was it? The fat man being a pervert every week? Is that it?
Yeah, we come to see that. I can't wait. What is Oliver Hardy going to say this time?
Yeah, is Fatty going to fucking almost get a charge again, or what's going on here? Is he going to oogle
8
some
seasons,
tits?
Matt? Martin only lasted 5. Shit.
I mean, dude,
I get it.
Justice, Steve.
And I get it. A big reason is because Tisha Campbell and Martin Lawrence had real issues off stage. But shit, I'd rather see a spinoff of Bruh Man for another 4 years to overcome 8 seasons of Wings.
Well, I'll watch Shanae the show for 8 seasons all day. I don't particularly care for that character too much, but I will watch that for a marathon of days, Steve.
I will binge watch a Dragonfly Jones musical for 5 years before I watch another fucking episode of Wings. No, I will. Okay.
Shalhoub, I love. I don't mind a Tony Shalhoub. I don't mind that.
Yeah, maybe not another episode, but 8 seasons of this shit.
Fucking basic B grade Betty White, Faye, or whatever her fucking name is. I mean, this is just like they took like a nice, like a character in a great show, and they were like, all right, we need a fat guy, perverted fat guy. All right. Instead of Newman, it's this fucking chud. Like, what happened to that guy is what I don't even know the guy's name. I don't remember the character's name, but all I know is that his sole purpose is to make people uncomfortable on the show. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually died last year, man.
Oh no! Damn it.
Yeah. His name was. Yeah, we'll get to that because in 1991, on December 2nd, we're going to be talking about all things December 2nd in the 90s. And in 1991, Macgyver airs the episode Split Decision. Macgyver's boxer buddy Earl Dent struggles with custody of his daughter and is blackmailed by bad bookies who want him to throw his comeback fight.
Yeah, and like I said, right when we picked it, I was like, here we go again. Are we going to see Macgyver making a fucking rocket out of some bubble gum and a toothpick and matchstick and shit, or is it going to be MacGyver moving? And Steve, unfortunately, we chose another snoozer of an episode. MacGyver, fresh off of some insurgency, foiling, he comes back to his apartment in Venice that we saw him move into. And he's got a house guest that didn't call ahead.
Yeah, man. And that someone is his buddy Earl, played by the legendary Dick Butkus. And
Dick Butkus? Did you hear that, Coach? He's cursing.
Yeah. And not only did Earl Goldilocks MacGyver's fucking house, he also enlisted him to be his boxing trainer / manager. I guess he wants to get
Steve,
back in the ring.
This was insane because the guy shows up unannounced. So right away, MacGyver thinks he's being robbed.
Yeah.
The guy turns the radio on, blasts the radio in an apartment, which can't make the neighbors happy. That's fucked up. That's a party foul. Starts cooking. MacGyver shows up and he's like, "Hey, MacGyver, I need to talk to you." And Dent not only needs a trainer, he needs somebody just to hang with, I guess, because he doesn't have any other buddies. But
he's fresh out of jail.
Exactly. He needs MacGyver to be a character witness at some kind of legal proceeding that he doesn't even talk about. He's just like, come on. And MacGyver's like, sure, why not? Why not, guy that I haven't talked to in a while, Dick Butkus?
Yeah, Earl has no one in his life because he needs a lot of things from MacGyver. He needs room and board. He needs character witness. He needs a boxing trainer.
And I gotta say, is MacGyver the guy to go to in hand-to-hand combat? Is he? I mean, I get he's like a spy, he's an engineer, but I'm looking at MacGyver and I'm not seeing a guy who's going to teach you the like footwork and the punching skills necessary to be not only to train a guy to box, but to make a guy a pro boxer, Steve. A pro boxer.
But here's the thing. Our buddy Earl Dent, the Rocket Man, they call him, he has limited options because everyone in town hates him. That's the word on the street. Everyone in town hates him. He's burned a lot of bridges, and we don't know what led him to getting into prison, but he had to do some undercutting, maybe some mischievous things.
Yeah, and not even his own, what we find out, daughter likes him because of all these foibles. Because we go to this legal proceeding, and we see a young tomboy girl named Ronnie, who's sitting on a bench. I'm sorry, Veronica, but she doesn't like that name. Fuck
yeah,
that
she doesn't
name.
like it. Oh yeah, Ronnie. Sorry,
Ronnie, dude. So watch your fucking mouth, Steve. But Ronnie's sitting on a bench. She's very salty towards Earl, and it seems like that's actually his daughter, and they don't have a good relationship. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because he's been in jail. But this whole character witness thing is to see if Earl can get like custody of his daughter. I mean, this is a very important thing to just be like the day before go, "Hey, MacGyver, I need you to show up and be a character witness." Like, don't you have to do a little preparation? Like, don't you got to get the guy ready? I mean, this seems insane.
But it is MacGyver.
And he is a great friend because not only does he not say anything about all the fucked up things that this breaking in, this and that, he goes through with it. And the child care services woman being kind of shitty to Earl, bringing up his checkered past. But it seems like what is necessary for him beyond everything else is just that he has some money to prove that he can take care of this little girl. So we get out of there. And not only does Earl want all this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But get this though, man, that they're at the Department of Children's Welfare. So, I mean, apparently when you go here, they talk to the lady and she's naming off all these things that she's guilty of or whatever. She says that Ronnie is unruly, has unruly behavior. She's lying, cheating, stealing. And she's like the bad kid out of this bunch. Like, how fucking weak, soft are these kids to where this is the bad guy? Like, man, y'all really letting Ronnie run up on y'all, taking y'all's lunch money?
Six is fucking just terrorizing the fucking adoption house or whatever, the halfway house.
Ronnie ain't got no black eyes, no scrapes, no burns, and she's just getting away, taking people's bags, taking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and shit. She want all the action. She'll take some more shit.
I mean, that's what happens, Steve, when your dad he's never around. He's been in jail. He always leaves, and she's salty as fuck. Like, she's just kind of a bitch, honestly.
And her mother died 5 years ago.
Okay, well, and that's tough. Yeah, but at the same time, she's throwing a lot of heavy sauce in front of Macgyver, just like straight up shredding her father in front of this guy. So not only now does Macgyver have to deal with this deadbeat guy who is Dick Butkus, looking old as fuck and just haggard. He's got to let him stay there. He's got to let this guy's daughter, who's salty and shitty as fuck, stay there. He's got to help fucking Earl become a boxer. And apparently he's got to still maintain whatever his daily routine is. So cut back.
Now, Earl was ranked number 5 in heavyweights in the world. And he was getting his Tyler Durden on when he was in Folsom. And they don't blit punks in Folsom.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, damn, I don't think prison boxing is going to get you a pro fight straight out of prison, Steve. He's got 2 weeks. Tyson. He's got 2 weeks. I mean, Mike Tyson, yes. A haggard old man that's getting out of jail looking a little svelte. I don't know, Steve.
Hey, man, this is the Drunk Uncle Federation, man. And the winner gets the last turkey leg on the dinner table. This is for all of the stuffing.
And here's the thing, Steve. It's not, I mean, Macgyver's got a nice pad. He's got this little like drive-in garage. He's got a little loft setup going on. He's got a nice little setup, but he doesn't have a gym. So not only is this guy coming in and he's like, hey, Macgyver, me and the kid are going to go get some food. Set up a gym for me. And Macgyver's like, I guess I'll look around and see what I got. Like,
but we overlook the fact that this motherfucker has no car. He's telling Macgyver, like, yeah, I'm going to hop in your whip. Yeah, fix this shit up. You know I want to train, right? I'm trying to get back in the ring. Do something with this shit. All right, I'm about to take my little girl, get some food.
Wait, dude, he even throws shade on the space because he gets down there. He's like, wait, you're going to turn this into a gym? And Macgyver's like, I wasn't expecting company, bro. I wasn't expecting to set up a 24-hour fitness today. My bad.
Yeah, just on a whim. I get it.
Hey, by the way, take my nice Jeep out and just go drive around and try to fucking hang out with your deadbeat daughter too, you fuck.
Oh, and because you're a freshly escaped convict, or a freshly released convict, you have no funds. So yeah, you're going to the grocery market and you're going to spend obviously my money.
What was the connection before all this happened? Like, where did they come together that this friendship is this deep? Because I mean, honestly, Steve, you show up, I'm gonna help you out. Some guy that I used to know 10 years ago shows up fresh out of jail talking all this shit. I'd be like, get out of my place right now, please get out before I call the cops.
See, Matt, and that's what I call the beauty of staying in our fucking lanes. Because Macgyver's a jack of all trades, he knows people of all walks of life. He knows goddamn kings, queens, and goddamn recovering fighters fresh from prison.
CT'd the fuck up. But so Dent goes out with his daughter. And here's the thing, Steve, you can see that he's a good dad because they're having fun in the parking lot. They're throwing maybe a loaf of bread around. They're throwing something around in the parking lot. Dick Butkus catches a bread loaf, does like a little block into a car, and then the most aggro fucking businessman of all time shows up and just starts shit talking Dick Butkus and is like, "You lucky I won't fucking kick your ass." Right? I was like, "What,
like, motherfucker? Do you know who I am? Do you see this buzz cut, motherfucker? It's 1991 and I have a buzz cut. I'm not Chris Mullen, or Big Boss Man. So I mean business. And these whiskers." Only a man of epic proportions would have a mustache like this. Me and the guys from the Whispers band.
Oh, and by the way, I'm fresh out of jail, motherfucker. Like, it's just overlook that aspect of the story. But this guy, he ain't having it. He's like, all these scratches. This is very LA behavior, though, Steve. This is very like, you go into a Ralph's parking lot, and if you fucking like look at a guy wrong, this might happen. So, Dick Butkus, Earl, what have you, he sucks it up, Steve, because he's in front of his daughter. He doesn't want to get in the thing, and his daughter's all about it, though. She's like, why don't you whoop that motherfucker's ass?
You can take him. You're Dick
Yeah.
Buckus.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Dick Butkus from now on, Steve, because I just love saying Dick Butkus. So that's what we're gonna do. So Dick Butkus avoids killing a guy for disrespecting him and his daughter, and cut back to Macgyver. And Macgyver actually has done some Macgyver shit, Steve.
Yeah.
He's created boxing robots for this guy. I mean, can you believe it?
Oh, but like before they get back to Macgyver, Ronnie steals some wrestling cards. Apparently, she's a wrestling fan, and Earl sees this, and he's like, "You know what? No, I'm going to pay for these cards with Macgyver's money."
MacGyver's going to pay for this. We have to have this. I can't have this happen.
Just put all this shit on this card. I never asked for any of this. I just told this motherfucker, I'm Dick Buckus.
He owes me.
Yeah, I have the name of a prank caller. I was in My Two Dads, damn it, with Paul Reiser and the motherfucker that looks like George Michael.
Oh, dude.
Dick fucking Buckus. I'll take your fucking Jeep. You hop on your bike. I'm gonna take your Jeep.
Man,
follow
fucking
me.
clean this shit up. Make me a gym. Oh, you ain't got any equipment? Make some. And engineer me some shit, motherfucker. I know you can do it.
I don't knock on doors. I turn on music. Shit.
Steve, give me a call at least. You can come into my place when I'm not here, but at least give a man a call. You know what I'm saying? Don't show up in LA. You might get shot. I mean, I got to assume MacGyver's
wholeheartedly.
got a gun,
how
dude.
people get shot. A lot of times.
Oh, dude.
I will knock before I come in. Oh,
so
please,
again, Steve, Dick Butkus, he seems to be like a pretty, like, no matter what the shit was that sent him to jail, he seems to be kind of like
he's
a
reformed.
Good dad. You know, he seems to be kind of he's going down the right path now, at least, except for like the embezzlement of MacGyver's funds. But that's all. That's on the arm, Steve.
He's
that's
got
on the arm.
It'll come back sevenfold because he's going to get 25 of them things after he fights Crazy Eddie Jackson. And just like the lady at the Child Protective Service told him, these babies need guidance. They need structure. That's what Veronica needs.
She does need that. She needs that.
She doesn't need these fucking child's play overalls that she's wearing with every outfit.
Yeah, dude, she got Oshkosh Bagosh that just keep growing with her, you know. It's like child. She's wearing the Chucky doll uniform is basically what she's dressed as. But thankfully, you know, not only did MacGyver engineer 2 boxing robots, one of which is basically just one of those punch power machines they have at a bar, but he made that in the 90s, way before I ever saw them. But he's also engineered these things to incorporate another person. So not only does Dick Butkus get to punch, he gets to punch something. The daughter, Ronnie, she gets to help out. So this is also a good dad machine, Steve.
Kindling, a bonding.
Exactly. And she's loving it. You see it. Like Butkus is like really not looking great, but they get started. And this is where is this where the montage starts, Steve?
No, we haven't gotten to that because while Dick Butkus is busting out his sweats for the first time, in walks Dorothy's ex-husband on Golden Girls and Officer Hightower from Police Academy, real names Herb Edelman and Bubba Smith, respectively. And they go by the names Riggins and Bailey. And we find out that Riggins, aka Stanley, is Earl's former manager. And he was his manager for 5 years. Put a lot of bread into the man.
And he's coming just to make sure his investment's still active. You know what I'm saying, Steve? Because they have an agreement. They have a little thing. They got a little plan here. And this $25K that Dickie Butkus is about to get, it ain't to win the fight. It's to throw the fight, Steve.
They're running numbers. Oh, Stanley. This doesn't, at first, it was offsetting seeing him and he's not getting dissed by Estelle Getty or B. Arthur. It's like, oh, this. But I will say
B. Arthur just came in and just shredded this guy. I mean, he deserved it. He's a shitty criminal, too. He's a shitty husband and a shitty criminal. So
you can't even shoot. Stop, Stanley. Just like you couldn't shoot in the bedroom, Stanley.
Not surprised you couldn't hit that. You couldn't hit me with your dick, Stanley, you fucking piece of shit. Hit the G spot, Stanley, you punk.
So Stanley dresses Earl down in front of his daughter and says, "Your old man could have been champ, but he didn't have the brains to listen to me." Whatever, Stanley.
He's got a very Eddie Arcadian vibe, you know. He's got that vibe where he's just that he's like even lower level than Eddie Arcadian, you know. He's just a bookie.
At least Eddie Arcadia had a little baddie with him. He's got Officer Hightower
with white tits.
And we also know that Earl needs to take the dive in the eighth round. And he tells Riggins, "You keep my kid out of this, or you're going to get your brain scrambled." And I believe it because this is Dick fucking Butkus.
I mean, Dick Butkus threatening me. I mean, is the man alive now? I don't know.
Dick Butkus is still with us.
Still
and
with
his
us.
birthday
Okay?
is actually next week, December 9th.
Well, Dickie Butkus, shout out to you, legend. Glad you're still with us. But even in this version of Dick Butkus, as we see on Macgyver, if he talks shit to me then, I would be horrified because the guy might be whatever age he is. He's still built like a brick shithouse, Steve. He might have a little extra padding on, but I mean, this guy is going to fucking lay somebody out. And fucking, what's his face? The bookie guy, the balls on this guy.
Stanley. But it's cool to talk gangster shit when you got Officer Hightower standing next to you.
Can I say, you know who Officer Hightower looks like? And maybe you might not even remember this. But in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, he fights a black dude that's on Joker's side, like in the Belfry before he gets to Joker. I don't know if you remember that at the end, but I'm almost, is it not the same guy?
Well, I'd have to go with
you have to go. I mean, I was watching this and that's who I thought this guy was the whole time. I forgot about Officer Hightower. I forgot about Police Academy, to be completely honest with you. It's not something I'm that into, but I guess you're right. I mean, the guy, Officer Hightower, he is a bad motherfucker, but I don't know. Dick Butkus looking like a Ren and Stimpy character with that fucking high top, whatever you want to call that shit. I'd be afraid. I wouldn't be talking that shit, but he is.
And when people say the strength is in the hair, they're not leaving out mustache. People are forgetting the mustache, and it's
Burt Reynolds, Steve. Can I just say, look at Burt Reynolds and tell, I mean, God rest his soul. Is he dead?
Oh,
I don't know.
Died in 2018. Yeah.
Well, the mustache, it tells you everything you need to know, Steve.
Fucking legendary, man. I heard Burt Reynolds' mustache had sex with 7 women on one Thursday night.
Do you know, like, he never cleaned it. So he had like 5 decades of PJ just all dripping off that. It was just like his odor, you know, that's what he went with all day, every day. So
about 3 generations. And now Macgyver comes down and he says that Ronnie is nowhere to be found. She's not upstairs, like you say you told her. And before Earl flips out, Macman tells him, "Man, it's cool. I got it." And he's like, "Man, no." Earl's like, "Fuck this shit. I'm going to hop in your Jeep again. You hop on your bike and follow me." And so he's like, "All right, man, I'm going to throw on my leather coat first because I'm getting on my bike." Hey.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks like Bon Jovi. Like in this scene, when he comes up on that park bench and sees Ronnie, I heard on a steel outside, just fucking straight Joni action all day, Steve.
And you know what I mean? We cut back to Ronnie and she's sitting on the bench again. This bitch really loves sitting on benches. And you know the thing about Ronnie, she kind of looks like Kyle Mooney. And I like Kyle Mooney. He's a funny guy, but I mean, I just couldn't help but think this.
Is that Kyle Mooney, Steve? Did you just uncover a lost gem here? I mean, why is she not like, here's what I'm concerned with. What she's with some sort of adoption thing or like what do you call that? The house is
Children's Department of Welfare.
Something, but she's not being taken care of, but she's being taken care of by the state. Are they just giving them like doll clothing to wear like throughout their lives? I mean, give this chick some fucking clothing. She looks like a fucking discarded doll on an LA park bench. But Macgyver comes and not only is he good with a bomb, a gun, some sort of Turkish military co-op thing that he
He's
gets
good
going.
for counsel.
Yeah, he's a good psychiatrist. He's a good family counselor, and he kind of is like, you know what, kid, just your dad's a good guy. You got to give him a shot.
He's doing all of this to protect you.
Yeah, I mean, you don't realize what this man's going through, and I don't either, because this motherfucker's. He's in my car in LA. He might be getting some fucking hookers. I don't know what's going on. He's got my credit card. So, but thankfully he doesn't get a hooker. He shows up a little later than Macgyver. And Dickie Buckus, not only is he pissed at Ronnie for just, putting him through this, Ronnie's like, you probably don't even have a fight. You're a fucking liar, Dad. And he's like, no kid's going to call me a liar, you little bitch.
Yeah, get you and your overalls in here.
So he says we're going. Well, actually, I don't even think he says we're going someplace. So he goes off in a tizzy in Macgyver's Jeep. Still, I mean, again, he's just out there on that. He's probably getting gas on Macgyver's dime too.
Oh
but
yeah.
He takes her to a gym and shows her a flyer because this guy is such an adult that he has to be like, I'm not a liar, you little fucking kid. Stop calling me that. I'm not a liar, you fucking bitch.
He's on his Al Bundy, Uncle Ronnie type shit.
And he's on a flyer, Steve. So God forbid, that's the bona fide you need. If it's on a flyer, it's got to be real.
It happened, and they called him the Rocket Man. He had a short fuse with lots of power.
And then he goes into it because Ronnie's like, oh, let me go into the gym because I think he says that he used to train there or something. But I don't remember how they get it, but they go into the gym.
But before they go into the gym, Ronnie spots German the Herman. And German the Herman is played by Donald Gibb. That's his name. But in this episode, he's professional wrestler Herman the German, and he's only the greatest wrestler in the world. And I swear he does not look like Terry Bollea.
Yeah, he does not.
That looks like the guy from Bloodsport.
Isn't that wild? I saw the movies he was in. I was like, he is in fucking Bloodsport. This guy was living the life. And I mean, he was actually working up in the early 2000s too, but Ogre, he's up in here. And he sign a card or what? He signed
autograph
something.
maybe. But Ronnie is just being a stand. He was like, nah, we got to go inside. That's where he went. Let's go where he went. So they go inside. And when they make their entrance, Eddie Jackson's manager wants them to make an exit, and mainly Earl. They get the shit talking. Crazy Eddie Jackson and Earl the Rocket Man Dent.
And he starts making fun of his daughter too. Eddie Jackson does not give any fucks. And he's like, take your homely ass daughter out of here, you bitch ass. He's shit talking the dad and the daughter. And Dick Buckus can't have that, Steve. He can't have it.
No, man.
So they almost get into it. And the fucking boxing manager's like, no, not a free fight. Yeah, dude. He almost busts. They almost get in a fight. And Eddie Jackson's like, I don't give no shits about $4,000, motherfucker. I'm going to kick your ass right now. And I got to say, I mean, Eddie Jackson, I respect the game. He's crazy.
He want that action right now. He don't care about no 4,000. And I think Macgyver calculates that because that's what he does. He's a calculator, amongst other things. And he's like, wait, but Earl was talking about 25,000. This guy's talking about 4,000. Something don't add up. So the census is already sparked, man.
Red flags.
Macgyver tries to step in and he catches a right jab from crazy Eddie Jackson, lands him on his arse.
I mean, he takes a fucking straight right to the nose. I mean, this Eddie Jackson he did what basically no one on the history of the Macgyver TV show ever did, which is Macgyver was down, Steve. He was out.
Yeah, for real. Now, it was unexpected. It was a sucker punch. It's not like, he went into it and had a fair one, but still.
And he's got that heat, dude. He'll knock your ass out. So who knows? But this makes Macgyver sort of question what's going on, even more so that I would hope that he was already doing that with all the free dwellings and announcements.
This is too much.
Yeah, I helped you. You stole my car. I put that off. You're fucking squatting in my place with your dirty ass fucking kid sister daughter. And now I took a fucking shot from Crazy Eddie Jackson. Like, I'm not having this, dude.
No, dude.
What was the friendship that started this? Because I mean, it's over with, bro. It's over.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. This is too much. But as they're leaving, Ronnie the klepto steals a pair of boxing gloves for whatever fuck, because they're there. She's hot hands Ronnie.
Yeah, and I mean, Dent's not happy about that, and he starts just fucking punching his fucking feelings away on this fucking robot, which I don't get. The robot that Macgyver designs, how is that to train you to be a pro fighter? I don't know. That's a sidetrack, Sally, but Steve, I'm questioning the validity of the machine. You know, I don't think it's going to get him ready.
Well, that same evening, Macgyver and Earl are sitting at the couch talking, and Macgyver just calls him out. He calls his bullshit, and he's like, "Look, dude, I'm not stupid. I'm fucking Macgyver. I see what you're trying to do. You're actually going to throw the fight. Those ogre-looking motherfuckers who just came to my crib, like something don't add up, man. They had on nice suits, nice watches, and they had evil eyes."
And he said, "You know what, dude? If you're going to throw this fight, maybe you shouldn't even be a dad. Maybe you should fucking slow down, slugger, and let this girl go back to the adoption agency because you piece of shit."
Yeah, dude, you ain't got no morals, man. What are you standing on?
Hey, you ain't got no money.
But he's like, "Look, dude, I'm gonna get this. I'm only doing this to get her back. And once I get her back, man, I'm out. I want out the game. That's the sole purpose. I just want to get my daughter and get right." He wants to walk that path of righteousness.
And so this newfound like righteousness also leads him to go back to the Riggins, I believe is his name's office, and call off the fix. The fix
Riggins
is off.
And Bailey. Yeah.
Fuck this. You fuck your bullshit. I mean, it's a real rinky dink bookie. I can't say I'd be too frightened of him or Hightower because they're just like renting space in a warehouse. I don't know.
At a machine shop.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a machine shop? I never even, was this like a thing that ended in the 90s? That sounds so antiquated.
Yeah.
Is that where they used to have the button factory? Fucking, so Stanley, he tells Earl that, "Dude, you can't go back. You're at a point of no return. You're too deep in the game. You're going to take that dive in the 8th round or else."
Yeah. No.
Or else what?
Don't they pull a strap on him though? Don't they pull some heat on him here, or is that
Not
later?
just yet.
Not just yet. They just leave it in a very awkward silence, and they're like, "You know what? You're gonna regret this." Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, because when Earl leaves, Riggins just says, "If you want to control a man, control what he cares about the most." He then tells Bailey that he wants Earl's daughter.
Give me his daughter. Give me that homely bitch. You'll know who
creepy,
it is.
Stanley. I see why Dorothy fucking divorced you.
You think do you know what my ex-wife put me through? I'm willing to do anything. So Stanley / Riggins or whatever is fucking he wants to get the daughter. But before that happens, Steve, you know, Dick Buckus, he's feeling righteous. He's feeling cleansed. He's feeling like he's ready to train. So this is where we get that nice little montage where he goes from, suckling pig to fucking stud.
Well, okay. She has to come clean about stealing the gloves.
I thought she already did that, didn't she?
No, she does. She does it now, like as he's getting prepared. And then that's when he kicks into it. But like right after he gets into it, that's when Stanley and Officer Hightower show up and basically snatch his daughter. And they kind of they have an exchange like, "Look, man, I'm taking your daughter as collateral just in case you're not going to do what you say you were going to do." And so they're going along, like they leave with the daughter, like thinking he's still going to go with the plan. And he's probably still at this point thinking he's going to go with the plan, whatever it takes to get his daughter. And he wants that bag, that 25 racks. So,
and he's not like panicking. I feel like if somebody kidnapped my daughter and was like holding her for ransom, that I'd be a little more like upset about it. But Macgyver's like, "Where's Ronnie?" And he's like, "The guy's got him. It's whatever. Let's go."
Man, I'm sorry, Matt and people. Maybe I reversed the.
I think you did, dude. I think you did.
Because I definitely want to talk about this motherfucking Macgyver montage.
Yes.
Yes, man. And at this point, like, this is the best part. It's a motherfucking MacGyver montage. He's working the Inspector Gadget punching machines, the bootleg punching bags. He's running along the beach with his daughter, past hot blondes, walking push-ups. Oh man, yeah.
Dude,
Earl's
and also
ready for that
Steve,
action.
how stiff is Butkus looking though? Because this is the most fucking like sad montage. Because he's just like, fucking retired NFL body.
Man, he hadn't ran since chasing down Johnny Unitas.
But I mean, he goes from fucking dud to stud, Steve. So he comes out of that montage. It's a minute of just vintage. You're the best around, and he's just fucking hitting that weird machine. I don't understand again how that trains you to do anything, but his daughter gets kidnapped. He becomes good at boxing again. He's not as concerned with his daughter being kidnapped as I would be. Again, like he seems not, he's like, they're taking care of her, whatever. Like, let's do this. But then it's time for the boxing match. And here's the thing, like MacGyver's like half in, half out on this at this point, but he's like, I think they're both expecting Ronnie to be at this boxing match, but she's nowhere to be found, Steve.
Yeah.
And that's concerning.
And at this point, Ronnie also knows about her dad's intentions because when Riggins and Bailey came to take her, she basically saw all of this go down, this whole exchange.
She knows her dad's a good guy, Steve. She knows. She's all about it. I mean, honestly, at this point, the relationship's mended, but Dick Butkus has to get out of this fucking thing with her alive and with his own reputation alive. So he's fully ready to throw the fight again. MacGyver, he's like in the corner. MacGyver actually, we didn't even mention this, but he actually MacGyvers some like corner man tools as well. He makes like this weird bag of
ice pack
water, which is, I mean, he MacGyvers a lot of shit.
Shaq showed up in Icy Hot commercials.
Yeah,
this is like he's so ahead of his time.
He invented Icy Hot. I didn't even think of that shit. So Dick Butkus, I mean, this is a great like. The cinematography of this whole boxing shit is very like Raging Bull-esque. I gotta say, like whoever shot this killed this, Steve.
Matt, this is Crazy Eddie Jackson and Earl the Rocket Man did in the Marina Del Rey match of the minute with a young Jim Lamprey doing the commentary from HBO fame.
I mean, they got him before he became famous, I guess. He's out there in fucking Venice just doing the damn thing. So they're boxing and it's going back, he's not doing, I feel like you got to sell it a little bit when you're throwing a fight. And Dick Butkus is just eating shots. Yeah. He's eating shots and he's doing a lot of hugging. And that's really where we're at. MacGyver's like, where's Ronnie at? And while Dick Butkus is taking an ass whooping, MacGyver's like clocking the situation a little bit. And Ronnie's nowhere to be found. So we cut over to someplace else. We don't know where this is.
But get this though, Matt. Like when MacGyver asked him about Ronnie, this motherfucker tells him to stay out of it. I'm like, hold on, sir. You did kind of just Goldilocks into my fucking crib and just ate all my porridge and enlisted. You signed me up to be a part of all of this shit. You had these goon ass motherfuckers come into my garage. You made me make a dojo out of my garage, and these two motherfuckers, Stanley and Officer Hightower, come in this bitch with gats, and they took your daughter. I think I'm a part of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's going. You want me to walk away? I've saved villages from people like warlords. I can't walk away from this situation, Butkus.
I'm giving you shelter, motherfucker. Where else you gonna go?
That loaf of bread you and your daughter bought at the store the other day, I bought that. I saw the fucking receipt.
Them wrestling cards. She met Herman the German because y'all drove here in my whip.
You filled up my gas tank with my credit card, motherfucker. This is some fucking Bush League shit.
Now you telling me to stay out of it? We made it. We're at the boxing match.
And also, dude, aren't you concerned? Like, where's your daughter at? She could be dead right now. These guys did have a gun. Like, they stole your daughter. Maybe just focus.
They're at the machine shop where Riggins runs his numbers. And Macman tells Earl to hold his mustache intact and that he has nothing to worry about. He might not even have to throw the match. Now we cut to Macgyver climbing the top of the machine shop, and we also see Ronnie put into a fucking cage, like PetSmart style. Like the fuck, she's a 14-year-old girl, not Mick Foley. Goddamn. And Ronnie sees Macgyver and motions him to where the baddies are. And being the ninja that he is, he stealthily eases along the walkway. And Bailey goes to the window to check on Ronnie, who asks him to turn up the radio. And unbeknownst to Bailey, he's helping the Mac Man set up the distraction he needs.
I mean, very accommodating kidnappers, though. She's like, turn the radio up. And they're like, all right. Like, I'd be like, shut up, bitch. Like, I'm the boss. Okay, I'm fucking young Murtaugh or whatever, fucking Hightower, whatever his fucking name is.
Stanley, you're in the wrong line of business. You and Hightower, you need to put the badge back on, and you need to go back to Miami and find your ex.
Yeah, get back with Dorothy, motherfucker, because you suck at this. But anyway, they turn the radio up, and they're glued. This is how old this show is, Steve. They're glued to a radio listening to the fight, not a TV. Not, even a better radio. This was like a fucking Golden Girls style radio from the 50s. And they're like, oh God, our money. So they're sitting there paying attention. Macgyver, he's doing all this acrobatics. He comes into the warehouse. These guys couldn't be, they are aloof. They're not paying attention at all. They're listening to this boxing match. So Macgyver, not only does he sneak in, he turns a fucking forklift on, and they don't even notice that. Some guy's like, did you hear anything? He turned a fucking forklift on, Steve.
Oh, is a forklift? Oh,
whatever. I don't know. Whatever the name of the equipment, some kind of piece of heavy equipment. He turns it on, lowers the girl, Ronnie, out of the cage, and then uses this fucking forklift to basically trap these guys in a cave-in in this building. Yeah. Like I think he might have killed them. If I'm not mistaken.
He blocked them inside, like they can't go anywhere.
But these guys, I mean, again, Stanley, Hightower, just go back to whatever your day jobs were before this, because you need to stop. It's over.
And we cut back to Earl, who got knocked out. And while he's on the ground, Ronnie comes to ringside, telling him to get up and be the Rocket Man.
Dick butt kiss, kick in the butt. And he does get up, Steve. He gets up on that 8 count real quick, and he's like, don't you fucking stop this fight. And then he just straight murderizes Crazy Eddie Jackson. And he even does like some weird sidestep, like rocket punch. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's pretty impressive.
That from
Dicka. No, he learned that from that fucking boxing robot, Steve. Fucking the Boxer 5000 or whatever Macgyver.
Fucking Inspector Gadget, Rock'em Sock'em. And he knocks Crazy Eddie to the canvas, but Eddie's saved by the bell. Word to Mark Paul Gosselaar, and actually wins the match. Was it unanimous decision?
Yep. It wasn't a split decision at all, Steve. And I mean, again, we've gotten to near the end of this fucking thing, and the only thing Macgyver's invented is a useless boxing machine. We're not getting any rockets. We're not getting any fucking gizmos and gadgets. We're just getting him rekindling the love of a father and his estranged daughter. So,
but they did go up against Child Protective Services, which is like a monster, I'm hearing.
I wouldn't know, but they did.
He got his daughter back because these babies need their daddies.
That $4,000 is gonna. Hopefully, they got a little more than that, because he gonna be staying on Macgyver's couch for a while if that's all he's got, Steve.
And he says he's done with boxing, and when one door closes, another one shall open. Because at the end of the episode, Herman the German comes in, and he loved the match so much. He liked the man's charisma and all of that, the drip, the sauce, the juice.
He was like, hey, man, crowd, man.
You work that crowd. You could be great for professional wrestling. And I even got $30,000 advance payment.
I mean, this motherfucker's just out on the hunt for I guess, maybe, is this what Vince McMahon was doing? Just walking around with some fucking couple of racks in his pocket? Like, you know what, Hulkster? I like the cut of your jib.
Yeah.
Come on over.
I can buy you, because bitch, I'm rich.
But Eddie the German comes in. So now, Buckus, you can get an apartment. You can get whatever. You can rent a house, I guess, and forget all this boxing nonsense. And maybe Macgyver can get his garage back in his life.
No, he'll
No.
once again, MacGyver putting others' needs before his very own, man. If he doesn't get into heaven, we ain't got a shot.
Bam, 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 bam.
And fun fact about MacGyver, I did not know it was produced by Henry Winkler's Productions, the Fonz.
I noticed the name on the produced by. I was like, Winkler again, just fucking crushing it. Not really with this episode, but I mean, he got Butkus in there. He got Hightower in there. He called in a couple of favors every once in a while. I love that.
I mean, MacGyver lasted 7 seasons, man, and he wanted to avoid typecasting. He found it difficult after Happy Days. I'm sure Urkel and other people, maybe Carlton, faced the same stuff. You're so famous for this one thing. And he was like, fuck it, I'll take the behind the scenes approach and be a producer. And he was actually a part of the development for MacGyver. He was directly involved.
This came out of Henry Winkler's womb, Steve. He gave birth to this.
You know who probably didn't watch this episode of MacGyver in 1991, Matt?
Who, Steve?
Probably former Pittsburgh Pirates outfielder Bobby Bonilla, becoming the highest paid player in MLB when he agrees to a record $29 million 5-year deal with the Mets.
I mean, is this part of the same thing where he gets paid like $1 million every year, Steve? Is that it?
It's even.
I think so.
I don't think it is it.
I think so. I mean, I think what he did was sign this deal and it was like backloaded. So like he got all that money, but he's like, you're going to give me X amount every year until this is over, like however long it lasts, maybe. But shout out to Bobby Bonilla, who was a Pittsburgh Pirate when I watched the Pirates and when they had like Barry Bonds, when they were actually good. And shout out to him for being fucking, because he is getting one of those deals where he makes of money in perpetuity, like off of some insane deal that he signed. So shout out to him for being a fucking athlete that actually had some financial sense.
He gets 1.19 million every year until 2035.
Can you imagine that? No, just having that kind of just security, being like, okay, like whoever set that up. I wish yeah, exactly. Whoever that guy was, I don't know if it was an agent and an accountant, whoever did it. I mean, that's amazing. Because this guy's he just collected $1 million at some point this year. That's crazy.
Decades past his playing days, not years, decades.
Bonilla was that shit though, dude. But he had a big ass dome too. I will say that he had a big ass head.
Shit, he's got a big ass bank too. Go with that big ass head. Now, in December 2nd, 1993, Wings is airing the episode "Come Fly with Me." Joe, Brian, Helen, and Lowell go to a singles party in Boston. Back at the airport, Roy, Faye, and Antonio team up to try to win a radio call-in contest.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
Yeah. Okay. Again, we kind of covered this already. Huge. Just snooze fest. I don't know where this came from, like how this lasted so long, but if this episode is any indication, I'm good. Steve, I'm good. We can cross this one off the list.
We did it. Like we showed up to class for this one. We put our name on the paper because I feel like it was a must. Like 8 seasons, and it was on NBC, a popular network. We know that Wings was a thing, and we're going to run into weeks like this where it's like, oh, this isn't available. Oh, what we got?
Maybe we could run into a different week and it would be a different situation. But like to me, this has a lot of people that are recognizable. Thomas Hayden Church, who you see in the photo behind you, Stephen Weber behind you, his brother in the show. That guy was in a lot of shit.
Tim Daly.
And fucking Helen, the hottie. Helen looking is the one shining spot of this episode, but she's only in it for like a split second.
He's not the only shining. I mean, this episode did
Shalhoub,
feature hoes.
but she's the main. I mean, she's the main host, Steve. She's the name on the hoe list. So she's looking good. I remember this show. I think my mom and dad watched it, but you know, Roy being a fat pervert, Faye being a saucy Golden Girls like cast off, Lowell being retarded, and you know, that's really what this show was. And I've had enough. You know,
who's the guy? Is that Steven Weaver with the Manu Ginobili circa 2003 hairdo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he looks like he models for Stetson Cologne or one of those like old
like an Old Spice. I feel like, first of all, the only thing I remember that he had like a couple other shows that he was on that he did guest spots on. They made like a remake of The Shining as a made for TV movie. And he was the guy that played the Jack Nicholson part, but he was just like another one of those guys you said, like an accessory character in shows, you know, he's just like there.
To fill.
Exactly. Yeah. But, you know, Tony Shalhoub is in this show, and I do like me some Monk. I like me some Tony Shalhoub. He's funny. And he sort of, I think, he's played this character in Frasier where he's just like a immigrant dude or like a foreign guy with an accent who's just kind of confused.
European guy, I think. And he's the taxi driver of this airline. He's the one that picks people up, drops them off or whatever. And to give a backstory, the main guys, Brian and Joe, they're brothers and they're pilots, and they run this airline called Sandpiper Air. And it's set in Nantucket, Massachusetts.
And there ain't shit going on in that town, Steve. I mean, there ain't shit going on to the point where the only plan to do anything is to leave the town. So fuck Nantucket. Yeah, it seems like that. You got to go to Toledo to do something. But here, even like we see the airline, and I guess Saturdays, just not a lot popping off because there ain't nobody there. So Faye, Roy, and Antonio Scarpetti, who is Monk, they're doing like they're just listening to the radio and trying to call in contests to win some money. And it seems like that's happening a lot in this town because for like a full day, they have multiple contests where you can call in and win thousands of dollars. So,
hey, you got to give the people of Nantucket something to look forward to in life.
I guess, yeah. Whatever keeps the bullet out of the gun, you know, that's fine. Yeah. So they're kind of focused on that, but all these other people behind you, they're like, what are we going to do? Their plans keep falling through. Helen was going to see a guy. He ain't showing up. Steven Weber was going to see this chick. She's kind of, I forget what happens, but they don't do anything. Like that plan falls through. So everybody's like, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do?
Well, yeah. Steven Weber, his character, Brian, he got into an argument with his girlfriend, Alex.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because Helen is supposed to be meeting up with this guy. He's charming, he's romantic, he's rich, he's successful and all of that. But he stood her up. He had a business meeting and he's like, oh shit, I got to get to this money. Bitch is going to be here. And, you know, Lowell, and here's the thing about Lowell and really Thomas Hayden Church. He reminded me of Doherty. When I first met Doherty, I was like, man, who is it? What is it? And boys and girls, me and Matt talk about our mutual friends a lot on this show. And let's just say Ryan Doherty is a man of epic proportions. He's somewhat of a, who's the guy that they drink to in SNL? Bill Brasky. He's one of those Bill Brasky dudes who, what was he, crab fishing in Alaska? He's now fucking Captain Ron type dude in Puddin Bay, Ohio. He's a jack of all trades when he's not jacking off. And, you know, he's the type of person where he could fuck your girlfriend and you would thank him for it. And
he'll make you laugh about it too. You know, you'll laugh about it afterwards. He's a living legend. I mean, he's
a living fucking legend.
He's the Jimmy Buffett of Lake Erie, I feel like, you know, that's what he is.
I'm sure he still has a collection of Hawaiian shirts while we're talking about it. But yeah, Lowell, he had plans to meet up with his buddy Tucker, and they were going to do a rat shoot. And, you know, out of all of these people, Joe is the only one who doesn't have plans because, you know, Lowell could invite him to the rat shoot, but they always say that two's company and three's a crossfire.
And Joe's like, come on, guys, we used to be fun. Remember when we went to that political rally and went to that's all the only thing he has. And clearly Nantucket, it's all just dried up. So he's like, you know what, guys, we have a plane. So let's be ballers and just fly to Boston and just live that baller lifestyle for the night. And which I got to say, that sounds pretty appealing other than letting one of my friends fly a plane someplace with me in it. I don't like that.
Yeah. And Alex and Joe, or Alex, was it Alex and Brian? Yeah. They were going to go to a Rainier Werner Fassbinder festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some kind of weird German. It's not Scheiser porn festival. It's just German film, Steve.
That would have been
Don't
better.
get too excited about it.
Yeah. I'd rather jack off with sandpaper at the Sandpiper airline than go to the Rainier Werner Fassbinder festival.
Well, he's not into it anyway. I mean, he looks like he's perturbed by it. He gets in his feels because Alex indicates that she's dated these handsome, sophisticated men, and he can't let it go, Steve. He's like,
who was it?
Who was it? How big was his dick? Was it 8 inches, 9? Like, he can't let it go. And she's like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck this town. I'm gonna go take this pussy.
Fucking Axel, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was it Eddie Vedder? I remember that time.
Tommy Lee, wasn't it? I knew your fucking asshole was too gaped open. That fuck.
I'll never get you back now.
But so everybody, they agree to go to Boston.
Let's get Cliff Norm wasted.
Just fucking Helen's gonna be double teaming, fucking or doing whatever this is. She's gonna be doing it. I don't know, you know.
3 tiers in Nantucket. Fuck it. Let's get the fuck out of here. And now on the way out, Lowell comes back and he mentions how he noticed Joe looking sad. So he put a rain check on the rat shoot so he can hang with his bro Joe. So now it's Joe, Brian, Helen, and Lowell in the mix. And this was also to prevent Lowell from offing himself because they really didn't want him to tag along.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but you got that special friend every once in a while. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Put the bike helmet on, Lowell. Let's go.
And now Antonio, Faye, and Roy are listening to the radio for the $8,000 question. And Alex returns to the airport looking for Brian to amend things from earlier, but they tell him he's already left for Boston. So Frisch's big boy sees this as a green light to invite Alex back to his place. He'll even fire up the hot tub.
I mean, dude, well, how many has it ever worked, Roy? Has it ever worked?
Shit, I'm not going to watch enough episodes to find out.
Yeah. And I know it hasn't because everyone's like, hey, because Roy always has these other comments like, I could be getting laid right now and shit like that. Like, I've had beautiful women and shit. It's like, Roy, shut the fuck up, dude.
By beautiful women, you mean 5 hungry jacks sitting in front of your fucking tube television.
Do you know what it feels like to jack off with a buttery jack? Roy's the type of guy that goes to a strip club and is like, I got a number from one of these strippers and she said she loves me.
That's business, motherfucker. Because she knows your fucking trick ass will come out of your whole paycheck. Fucking
and Roy just looks like a pervert too. Like he ain't doing himself any favors. It's like, dude, just do something. Like maybe work out or shave the mustache. Do something else.
Yeah, his appearance is off-putting. I'm just gonna say that too. He looks like a throwback fat dude.
He looks like Paul Bear without the fucking white paint on his face.
Like he looks like Ralph Cramden, but without the black and white tint. Like he looks like that in Technicolor. He looks like fucking
back here.
Jackie Gleason, Paul Bearer, motherfucker. One of these days, Alex.
And I mean, not only are these like Faye, Roy, and Antonio just trying to win, they're starting to turn on each other too, because Faye's really like the person who's going to win the contest.
She's the whiz.
Yeah.
She's the fuck one of the funkin' Wagnos motherfuckers.
She's there. But I mean, Roy's got the access to these speed dialers. So everybody's like sort of turning on each other for what I think was $8,000. But again, there's multiple contests for multiple thousands of dollars in Nantucket, Steve. I don't know where the radio station's getting all this money to give away, but there's plenty to be had apparently.
But Roy, as we can all see, is greedy. And when Antonio steps away, Roy's like, hey, we can just cut him out. What do we need him for? Now, Antonio, he overhears this and he steps in like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And he checks him about it. Now, Roy steps away and Antonio's like, so we gonna cut him out, right?
Yeah. But
Everybody's
I mean, fuck Roy, dude. I'd be like, man, fuck this fucking fat fuck. You know,
Roy asked for it.
So anyway, then we go back and Brian, Joe, Helen, and Lowell they're in Boston now, Steve, but it seems like they're kind of having a bad time. They're getting kicked out of places. They're not allowed into places, and they're just sort of the gross crew, you know?
Yeah, they're the friends of friends, and they're iffy about going to this house party. But Joe, he told them like, hey, the bartender told me about this. They always know where shit's at. And he's like, hey, Joe, he tells his brother that for all we know, on the other side of that door, there could be a hot chick that won't take everything you say out of context. And Helen, there might be a guy in there that actually shows up for dates. And Lowell, there might be a huge rat in there for you to kill. And on top of
they're not into it though, Steve. Even with all that sales pitch, everyone's like, I don't know. But then a couple of hotties walk by.
Yeah,
and they're like,
the guy comes in with 2 chicks, and it's like, I already like this ratio. Let's follow this.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, so they go in, and this party's popping, Steve. I mean, this is the LA's finest is out. There's some thoroughbreds out there. There's some fucking, rich dudes out there. It seems like this is a good ass party to be at.
There's a lot of flannel and leather in that motherfucker. And Brian, he quarterbacks the plan because I guess he's the most handsome one in the cast. And in no time, Lowell has 3 business cards and an appointment with a podiatrist. I wonder what those business cards say, Lowell. Now, Joe, he tries to set Helen up with the guy that just walked into the bar named Ted. And this awkwardly leads to Joe, like, sounding like he's hitting on Ted. But yeah, awkward, right? But it did spark a conversation with Helen and Ted. And, now she's occupied. Now, Brian, he's trying to be faithful to Alex. And right after he says he's not going to cheat, he bumps into a little piece of blonde candy. And now Brian's occupied. And now we got Lowell. He's entertaining himself on the piano. And that's something I can see Doherty doing, even though he doesn't even know how to play piano. And until a hot brunette starts conversing, and she's like, I love piano music. And he's like, don't we all? And she's like, she asked him if he could play anything, and he just busted into the Entertainment Tonight theme song.
Killing it, by the way. I mean, I gotta say, if somebody starts busting that out, I'm at least gonna be like interested. I'll be like, damn. And she's not, but she ain't impressed. The hottie, she's like, don't you know anything classical? He's like, classical, got it. Back to that Entertainment Tonight John Tesh riff. He's just
remix.
Back to it.
Yeah, but he added a couple finger rolls with it. And yeah.
He just puts a little sauce on the end. But I mean, Lowell, everybody seems to be kind of quietly killing it. Because even Joe's like hitting it off with this chick in red, looking like a little devil bitch in this party. And Ryan's starting to have he's having some second thoughts because he does like Alex, but he's got this hot piece of ace that's looking good to go, Steve. And he goes over to Joe and he's like, look, man, I just don't feel good about this. I just don't know if I can go through with it. And Joe's like, dude, stop fucking the vibe up, dude. What's going on?
This is a bad kind of problem we're having, right, bro?
I'm sorry. Some chick wants to bang you. And he's like, just, do whatever. So he sends him back over. Meanwhile, Helen's having a conversation with this British guy that she got hooked up with, and it's going good. It seems she's hitting it off. He's like, oh, tally ho, you're beautiful.
Hugo Grant.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of the same type of British people on 90s TV. They had
what do you call them? Foppish?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, you're so gorgeous.
Man, what is it with like some of the older British dudes with they sound like the bad guy from Mighty Mouse, or
they're just always like in a huff. They're always in a tizzy. That's the sound of being in a tizzy, Steve. Like,
but theirs are more guttural, like
Yeah. So it's all going good. It seems to be going almost too good, though.
Too
Steve.
good to be true.
Something's a little off. And then Joe starts, he's hitting it off, and he's, like, I forget the interaction, but it gets to the point.
It's simple. The game is simple. He gave her some 101 easy elementary game. He just walks up to her. He's like, this might sound corny and all, but you're really gorgeous. And she's like, well, it works. Huh? Start playing.
You're my girl now, aren't you? Yeah, I am your girl for $300 an hour.
Yeah.
What?
But no, like when Brian, when he's talking to the blind that's all over him, he's like, well, you know what? If we go back to your place, I'm going to feel bad because I know what's going to happen and my girlfriend won't be here. And she's like, she could come here too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'd be like, give me a fucking phone right now. Shut up.
She's a two-way free.
He's like, wait, what, bitch?
She down for that lickety split?
Freaky deaky? Let me get in the plane real quick and do this. We'll get this party started. And she's like, look, for $300, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, there it is. There. Oh, okay.
That's that high class Bostonian pussy, though, Steve. That high class hooker, that $300 hooker. That's the highest of highs, Steve. Apparently,
you gotta pay to play. Now I get it. Oh,
why aren't these women like Bostonian trash? Though, like, you fucking, it costs you $300 fucking dollars. This fucking fuck this pussy. You fucking.
Well, yeah. I mean, this must be an elegant party with, the place does look nice. And none of the women here, from what I noticed, are ugly. Like they could all be on Cinemax porn, at least at the bare minimum.
This is a straight up like Prince party that they just like unfurled into this hotel room. Like this is just the upper echelon of high society in Boston. This is like that orgy. This is a serious Stanley Kubrick situation going on here, I think.
And Sheila is her name. That's the blind. And she prefers being called a call girl. And it's like, man, a call girl, a professional, a pro, a hooker, a prostitute, a woman of the evening, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Shit, I kind of need my 300.
Yeah. That Sandpiper Air ain't doing too good, bitch. So Brian is he's already flabbergasted. So he goes over to Joe and he's like, look, man, what the fuck you doing? What'd you bring us to? And Joe's like, man, I'm trying to get my dick sucked. Hold on. He's like, look, dude, when has it ever gone this well for us? Think about it. And Joe is like, well, what's going on here? And he comes to find out these are all hookers. These are all hookers in this fucking room.
Well, Brian straight up tells him. But when we first find out, there's a cut to Ted and Ellen on the couch with Ted asking Helen if her parents know what she does for a living. And we know what we know now at this point. She doesn't. And she says, of course they do. And she took the business over from her mother. She actually taught her everything she knows. And Ted's like, oh, really? Tell me more.
You are a fucking freak, my dear. My God. Young. Maybe dress up like a baby and slap me in the... What does he ask if she can do? Dress up like who?
Oh, well, he wanted her to dress up like Little Bo Peep, hog-tie him to the bedpost and spank him for being the bad boy that he is. And Helen looks dead into his face like, what the fuck?
She's like, not again. I'm not falling for this trick again.
And meanwhile, Joe is talking to Brian like, bro, not my Deidre. And Brian's like, dude, for $300, she's anyone's Deidre.
And it's the illusion's over. I mean, Lowell, he's probably... still he might be about to pay somebody, but even him, like everyone's just sort of like thrown off by the fact that they're in, basically a whorehouse, Steve. Like maybe this is what it is, but
and Ted even ups the ante. He said, I'll throw you a 500. I'll kick you 500.
That's when I start listening, Steve. Half a
grand. Yeah, because like they get the fuck out of here, but she stops and like that 500 is really heavy on her conscience.
Yeah, so but nobody gets laid, nobody gets paid, and they get back on that long flight back to Nantucket. Must be nice though, just to be able to get on a plane and just, maybe go to Boston, maybe fuck a prostitute. I feel like maybe Joe takes this knowledge and then takes everyone back. And then he's like, oh, I think I forgot my wallet someplace in Boston. He goes back, Steve.
And you know, it's even nicer is being on a subpar TV show for 8 seasons on NBC. What a blessing.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, just phoning it in, being like, hey, man, Roy's pulling all the weight, literally. Like, he's literally the fattest thing and the only thing that's funny on this show because he's a pervert. So that's all we got, guys.
And speaking of Roy, we're back to him and Antonio, and they're finally getting through to the radio show. And now the question is worth $12,000. And they need Faye, who's actually out to her car getting her knittings. And the radio DJ says there's no time to wait. And he gets straight to the question, who is known as the father of Impressionism? And Fatty Arbuckle gets on the horn. He takes the phone from him and he says it's Rich Little. And I will say Rich Little does an impeccable Johnny Carson. It blows mine to shame. I'd go on tour if I could do Johnny Carson as good as Rich Little. But Spanky from Little Rascals is incorrect in this one because it's Claude Monet.
And Faye is pissed. Faye's about to she's about to blast off. She's like, what the fuck, guys?
It can't be that important, Faye. Now you coming, so you heard my answer. You heard the DJ respond to my answer, but you were out getting Afghans. Fuck them fucking Afghans. Yo, fucking crochetings and shit, motherfucker. I was about to get us all a bag.
Yeah,
but you got your scarves though. Okay.
Hopefully she knits well and can sell $12,000 worth of those because she's out that money. You know,
be mad at yourself, Faye. If anything, you should have been here.
And then everybody else comes back into this empty ass fucking. This airport's days away from closing down due to inactivity, but they come back and fucking what's his face? He's like looking for Alex. Alex shows up. Everybody's like flabbergasted talking about the whores and everything. And then they blow up fucking homies fucking deal with Alex. And Alex just is like, oh, you were hanging out with hookers all night? Go fuck yourself. It's over.
And they also shitted on Joe in the process. He's like, dude, I was just trying to get us out of fucking Nantucket on a Saturday night. This is the motherfucking thanks I get.
Sorry, I'm trying to get everybody's dick sucked. And Helen, all due respect, your pussy licked. All due respect. Because honestly, like if I'm those guys, if I'm one of these guys, I'm trying to hit on Helen. Because I mean, she looks good to go. She's like a Nantucket 10.
She's a childhood friend though, and you know how it is in those situations, man.
You got a plane though. Fly the bitch to fucking China and leave her there. You know, you can make things happen, guys. If it goes bad, fire her from the fucking airline because it ain't gonna last too much longer anyway.
Yeah, because her date actually felt bad, so he canceled his business meeting, hired a jet, and flew there to be with her. But he already took off, and she missed him. Kind of like how Elaine missed John.
Yep. I mean, it's strange parallels, Steve. I noticed that myself, and I maybe one begat the other, but Helen's going to be dickless. Everyone else just, going to go jack off tonight. And that's basically a Saturday night in Nantucket, Steve. A lot of nut busting on your hand.
Yeah. And Lowell found out that Tucker actually went on the rat shoot, and he grabbed a 20-pounder. Man, Joe.
20 pound. I mean, god damn, what kind of fucking rats you got out there? What the fuck?
Shit. Man, hanging outside of Titan's Entertainment, getting that residual, whatever the fucking Vince's guys like dropping off, like Ultimate Warrior just throwing out of his convertible.
The water around this fucking WWE's headquarters is just fucking. It's like that Ninja Turtles shit that went out into the environment.
Fucking rats looking like Roger Clemens and shit.
So yeah, I mean, will we ever watch Wings again? Maybe if we get desperate, Steve. But I gotta say, this did not leave a good taste in my mouth, and just really, other than Roy maybe needing to be arrested for a possible rape at some point, I just feel like there's nothing going on in the show. So
until next time, Wings, maybe. But you know who probably didn't watch this episode besides you and me in 1993, Matt?
Everyone.
Probably the Houston Rockets when they scored 94 points against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. They recorded their 15th straight win to start the season, and they tied the Washington Capitals all-time NBA record in 1948 and 49. Their streak would end in the next game, and they would go on to win that season's championship against the Knicks, but not before we see a bunch of police cars chasing OJ down.
Clyde the Glide was on that team. Am I right?
He was on that following year's team.
Okay.
He came as a part of a trade. This was Olajuwon, Kenny Smith, Vernon Maxwell, Robert Ory, Otis Thorpe. Did I say Sam Cassell?
You did not,
Mario.
but the alien, Sam Cassell, obvious alien amongst us that was a badass. This team was this was a cool team to watch. Like I did like it. I remember when they had like Clyde Drexler and shit. Clyde Drexler is one of my favorite NBA players of all time, a legend. But yeah, dude, the Rockets, Olajuwon, these motherfuckers were killing it and were basically unstoppable for a couple of years. So
yeah, the years Jordan was out.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's someone else who probably wasn't watching the finals or NBA. It wasn't the finals yet, or this episode of Wings. It was probably Pablo Escobar, Colombian drug lord. El Jefe, he was.
He got deaded, Steve.
Now, maybe you're more familiar with the story than I am, man.
No, I just know I've read the headline and but everyone loves Pablo Escobar. He became like a cultural, like whatever. He's very notorious. They made shows about him, movies about him. One of the most successful drug dealers of all time. Interesting story. I remember, just like fun fact about Pablo Escobar. That's kind of just cool thing. He had so much money, he had to bury it. And for a while he was losing more money to rats eating his money than he was to like cops and shit. I mean, this guy was an asshole. But we love a nice drug dealer story, and he's got one of the best. So,
oh man,
he's got. But they went after him, dude. I mean, this guy was a scumbag. He blew up a plane. He took over. You know, he killed a lot of motherfuckers. So I hate to
did some not so great things.
Yeah, yeah. But if you like Narcos, I mean, they make him look cool as fuck in that. I mean, the Narcos version. I definitely smoke a joint with that guy carefully, but.
Oh yeah, when you hear about these rappers saying they live a movie, this man did that, and several retellings after the fact. There's probably going to be a Escobar musical before we die.
It's why, I mean, the story of how they caught him and like what the links they had to go to get this dude is wild, dude. It's just crazy how much money you can make just slanging some coke, dude.
Yeah. That following year in 1994, Cobb premiered in theaters, and it's Tommy Lee Jones playing the Hall of Fame, the baseball legend Ty Cobb, and by all accounts, a real piece of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how brutal is that movie to watch? Is it just him blasting N-bombs out constantly and punching a chick? Because that's kind of the vibe I get from Ty Cobb.
It did receive critical acclaim. I mean, I don't know what to do with that. You did a really good job at playing a fucking piece of shit. I do like Tommy Lee Jones though.
Yeah, huge fan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played like, it's wild that he'll play like just like a normal, like a baseball player, but then he'll play like Two-Face and shit. You know, he's done it all. But I'm not surprised that Tommy Lee Jones played a shitty redneck Southern asshole very well, because it seems to be something he's played quite a bit in his life.
Yeah, and I looked in all streaming platforms. It's not available, man. But I would like to watch the movie because I'm interested in the portrayal, man. I've read up on Ty Cobb, and he was a good baseball player. Now, given this was back in the day when like a fat ass like Babe Ruth would look like a stud, but still, man, he lived an interesting life, and I just want to see it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, dude, it's probably a good ass movie. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is a badass, no matter, like, he's been in a lot of good movies, but yeah, I don't know. Ty Cobb, not a guy I'm searching out for a biography, but maybe it would be interesting just to see like who made it. I wonder, like, who was it? Somebody famous that was the director, or is it just, you probably don't know. I was going to say, if it's like an Oliver Stone telling of Ty Cobb's life, that would be kind of interesting.
But on that same day, Trapped in Paradise premiered in theaters. And this is one of the things where I like the individual parts, but the grand sum, not so much. It stars
who's
John
in this?
Lovitz.
Okay, my
John
bad.
Lovitz, Dana Carvey, and Nicolas Cage.
Trapped in Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's that one. Yeah. Can't get the full picture up, but
It's just it's like the movie I saw in the movie shelves that are like Video Connection a lot, but I never saw that shit. Here's the thing, Steve. I'm not a big John Lovitz fan, except High School High. That's about
and
it.
Critic. You didn't like Critic?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let me take that back. My bad, John.
And Cobb was directed by Ron Shelton.
Okay.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, thought it was somebody like a famous director that did that. But that, I mean, I'm sure that movie is wild to watch. Probably pretty insane to watch because it's just a racist dude just fucking nailing baseballs out of the park. But you know, I guess it's weird you can't find it anywhere though. You'd think that'd be pretty easy to get. And maybe they just like fuck Ty Cobb, fuck his bitch ass.
It'll probably resurface somewhere, man. You know how they have these terms for Netflix and Hulu, you know,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
come, some go. But someone else who probably wasn't watching Cobb or Trapped in Paradise in 1994 is Heidi Fleiss, who was found guilty of running a call girl ring.
Damn, there's a lot of prostitution going on this week, Steve. Heidi Fleiss, responsible for that Boston call girl situation we saw on Wings. Notably fucked Tom Sizemore, I believe. The Hollywood, yeah, I believe they were connected somehow. But then obviously Tom, he sort of had a really high arc and then just wherever he's at now. I mean, he was on It's Always Sunny, but I feel like he's still probably dealing with a lot of issues. But this was wild. The Hollywood prostitution. What was the Hollywood Madam? Isn't that what they called her?
Hollywood Madam. Yeah. Heidi Fleiss looks like she has to take her teeth out to fuck.
Yeah, I mean, did they all fall out because of meth? I mean, she just looks like a skeleton that they slapped some skin on in that photo. That's pretty wild.
Well over. And in 1995, on December 2nd, Saturday Night Live has earned the episode with musical guest Foo Fighters and your host, Anthony Edwards. This was the beginning of the Joe Pesci show.
Oh, shit. That's a big one. Jim Brewer. Yeah. Jim Brewer had a lot of fucking recurring skits. Goat Boy, that's a success.
He had a nice run, and I think his run was only about 2 seasons. I want to say he left like midway through his last season there, man.
Yeah, he didn't like it there. I've heard him talk about it since on like podcasts. He was not a huge fan of the SNL experience, I don't think.
And this was funny because Nancy Walls plays Sharon Stone, and he checks her like about kissing some other actor or whatever. Oh, you kiss him, but you can't. I just get a handshake. So he beats her with a bat. And then Macaulay Culkin comes out, played by Anthony Edwards. And he's like, oh, you had fun hitting me with paint cans, huh? And then he beats the shit out of Macaulay Culkin. And then Mark McKinney comes out and plays Jim Carrey. And then Carrey calls his show Smoking. And he's like, smoking how? Smoking like my ass after Mexican food?
What am I, a joke to use? I mean, he just always had that. He has like a bat that like a foam bat, yeah, dude. That's fucking funny as shit. I forgot about the Joe Pesci show. He did one where like I feel like De Niro was on it or somebody played De Niro like very well, and they start beating somebody together. But this was a great skit. I forgot about this.
Yeah, De Niro and Pesci. I can't remember who actually played De Niro in the thing.
It might have been Alec Baldwin.
Was it? Okay,
it might have been.
Right.
It might have been back then, but yeah, dude. Shout out to fucking Jim Brewer because he's been just killing it consistently throughout the 90s and since. I mean, the guy's still fucking hammering it as a stand-up. So
he's not known for his comedic shit, man. He was more known for ER. That's what they had him host for. But he did a good job, man. Another good one was The Nasty, and Tim Meadows plays this like fictional rapper, and he's going along with the Montel Jordan song. This is how we do it. But he's like, this is doing the nasty, do the nasty, do the nasty, do the, and it just becomes this like convoluted skit, and it just drags on and drags on. He basically puts his back out doing the nasty, and he has to go to the doctor, and they're questioning him about if he can do the nasty. And Anthony Edwards plays like his manager. Will Ferrell plays the music video director, and they wind up in Lorne Michaels' bed, and like it was basically all a dream. It was like, man, I'll never do a skit like that. And they asked Lauren, if something was that bad, you wouldn't put it on TV, would you? And then he has like this little devilish grin.
Do the nasty.
Do the nasty. It's time to do
I love that you said he threw his back out doing the nasty. I mean, haven't we all done that, Steve?
Nasty. Maybe got Charlie Horse or two. But in 1997, we lost English wrestler Shirley Crabtree. He was also known as Big Daddy. That was his. He was an English guy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, he's one of those old school guys, and apparently he was in the Guinness Book of Records, man, for having the largest chest.
Whoa.
I don't think this is what got him into the books.
Is he doing the nasty right now, Steve? What's going on? I mean,
I'm covering that part up. Yeah, that's behind me. It's nasty behind me.
Damn, yeah. I'll tell you, those are some nips right there. So maybe that's what he won the award for. Some of the best. I wasn't expecting that, Steve. I'm kind of getting boned up here. So let's
Davey Boy Smith, you are not, my friend.
Oh, gross, Steve.
And in 1998, Juice WRLD, the American rapper, singer, and songwriter, is born.
And this guy is dead, right?
Yes, the man came after us and he left before us, like a grand entrance.
Can you give me some back? Because this guy, he's beloved, and his name was sort of that tour thing that just happened with Travis Scott. Wasn't that like a tribute to this guy?
Yeah, well, he had a cult following. He was one of those SoundCloud rappers, and he's originally from Chicago, and his cause of death was, I believe, accidental overdose.
Oh shit. Well, I just know I've heard his name so much, but it's never like associated with his music. It's just like him being gone and people that I guess were fans of his being like, oh, he's gone too soon. But I don't think I've ever even heard one of his songs.
There was one song that they played on radio, and I mean, I guess I have to be younger to know more of his shit, but he came up with some of those rappers that you might have heard of. And just 6 days after his birthday in 2019, he was aboard a private Gulfstream jet in Van Nuys Airport. He was supposed to go back to Chicago, and they were waiting for the jet to arrive. They were notified by agents that the flight en route, they suspected, had guns and drugs on the plane. And the officials later revealed that they found a 70-pound bag of marijuana on the aircraft. And several members of the management team aboard the flight told them that Higgins had taken several unknown pills, including allegedly swallowing multiple Percocet pills to hide them while police were on board the plane. Yeah.
Holy fuck. Well, also 70 pounds of weed, guys. I mean, do you need to just carry that much? Is it gonna that seems to be dicey, even if you got a private jet. But used to work near Van Nuys Airport. Can't say that it's the best place to die, and that's crazy. He just ate a bunch of pills just to hide them from the cops. That's a bummer.
Isn't that where they make fuck flicks in Van Nuys? Isn't that like the
no, there's another place that starts with a C. Eddie Adams from Torrance. I forget the name, but Van Nuys is just like, it's in the valley. It's in the San Fernando Valley, and it's like where broke people go live, Steve. Van Nuys, there's just like a Budweiser factory. Maybe there's some porn shoots in there.
But I thought that was like the Silicon Valley of porn.
No, well, the valley is, but I wouldn't. Hopefully, the Van Nuys porno is probably a lot of that, where you see a lot of stretch marks and gunshot scars and shit. It's not the high tier.
Maybe I'm going off of my uncle's boxes whenever he was at work in the 90s. I do recall seeing Van Nuys from time to time.
Probably back in the day, back in the 90s, maybe it was popping, but when I was living in the late 2000s, not popping at all.
No ground shaking ass up there in Van Nuys.
No. A lot of prostitutes though. Back to that, a lot of call girls, but just again, probably not those $300 high class Bostonian joints.
Yeah, not the Heidi Fleises of the world.
A lot of hookers at the point hookers.
Any callbacks, honorable mentions, takeaways, Matthew?
I do have a couple of, well, not callbacks, but a couple of things that I experienced. One, I just wanted to say I watched Jingle All the Way. I kind of alluded to it earlier. It happened in the 90s. And I got to say, man, You got to go back and watch it because it's ridiculous. It's stupid. But I mean, Sinbad commits multiple crimes. Schwarzenegger not only tries to act like a normal business guy in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but at one point he punches a reindeer out unconscious and tries to steal a child's toy from his neighbor's house. So, I mean, this movie's wild. Very ridiculous, very fun to watch. It's free. So there you go. And it happened in the 90s. So shout out Sinbad and Arnold. But one thing I just had to say about Wings, beyond the shittiness of the show, it did host a Frasier Crane on an episode, actually a year prior to the episode that we watched. So in the season prior, Frasier Crane, played by Kelsey Grammer, who at this point had only been on Cheers, showed up for one episode in Wings before Frasier premiered at some point later in the 90s. So Kelsey Grammer actually played Frasier Crane on 3 different shows. And he's one of the notable actors, one of the few to ever do that. So shout out to Frasier and Kelsey Grammer.
Very exclusive list. Very exclusive list.
I think it's one. I think that's it. He's one of the few guys. So legend.
I feel like in the finale of Fresh Prince, they had the Gary Coleman and then George Jefferson.
Shit,
so I'm sure
right.
like characters like that have done that kind of stuff, and they were in character. I know that it was years removed from the original show, but still, so that's what I meant. But still, I think that list is exclusive. It's a very small list of people who have done it thrice. I
mean, the hat trick of TV show, you're getting paid if you're in that upper echelon. So shout out to anybody who did it. But I didn't know that until this morning, and my wife pointed it out, and I was like, well, damn, I can't get away from Kelsey Grammer. I wish he was in this episode because it would have made it way better. But live and learn.
Even with the hose.
What about you? Any callbacks? Any acknowledgements?
Oh yeah, something I skipped over, man. We talked about Lenny Kravitz earlier, and in 1995, on December 2nd, his mother, Roxy Roker, passed away. She was famously known as the neighbor of the Jeffersons back in the day. When you see, I don't know if you've seen that clip of George Jefferson dancing with the lady. That's one of the top clips they use from that show. Well, anyway, she was the neighbor from the show. And, Roxy Roker, she was Lenny Kravitz's mother, and she passed away in 1995, man. And Wings sucks. I just can't.
Yeah, dude. Okay, Steve, another episode of Wings or a Sandra Bullock movie? I know, just like the hatred, which one are you avoiding more at this point?
Sandra Bullock movie.
It's longer, I get it.
I'm adamant about it.
I'm adamant about it. God damn. So Steve, you're not even going to check out any new, maybe what if she's in a new shit? You're just, it's over.
I think she has some new shit coming out and I'm not watching it, but Wings was on for 8 seasons. There's a high probability that I will find something in there. Maybe there's another episode with hoes.
Dude, actually, Steve, there is, because when I was looking up this to find images, first of all, the internet has not been talking about Wings at all. So to anybody listening to this or wants to watch the video we do about it, not going to be a lot to cut away to because nobody's giving a fuck about Wings. And I fully agree and acknowledge that that's fine because there's no reason to. But there was another episode, Steve, where Joe finds out he's dating a prostitute. So apparently these motherfuckers are fully in this world and, a step away from a prostitute at any moment, which they're pilots. So makes sense.
Hey, 4 tiers in the bucket in Nantucket. Fuck it, man. I mean, what else is there to do? Flying for Sandpiper and going to Boston and, watching the Celtics lose in 93.
Yeah, apparently Nantucket's just home to some freak shit because, we've all heard there was once a man from Nantucket who's was so long he could suck it, Steve. So that guy's walking around sucking his own dick, and Joe, Lowell, and his brother out there trying to fuck hoes for money. So apparently Nantucket, it's not a good place to go. I'm going to avoid it.
Yeah, and the series Wings isn't really a good place to go. I just really hate the fact that the word win is included in the title of this show, man. And the internet has every right to try to sweep it under the rug. But boys and girls, don't sweep us under the rug. Watch this episode, like, share, subscribe. Check out our sister show Over the Culture every Sunday and our sister show Crushgasm every Wednesday. Our buddies B3F, they have shit coming out all throughout the week on YouTube and the same streaming platforms.
Killing
this
it.
is Steve G, Matt G with Happened
Happened
in the
in the
90s. Beautiful tasting
pussy.
beautiful tasting pussy, beautiful tasting pussy, beautiful tasting pussy. You can't even beautiful a taste. You